The carpenter needs to be sure that a frame that he has built is a rectangle. Okay, let's make a little picture here of a rectangle. All right. And he knows that opposite sides of his frame are congruent. Okay, so 1 tick, 1 tick, 2 ticks, 2 ticks. Now that doesn't make it a rectangle though, right? Which additional fact would be sufficient to prove that the frame's a rectangle? If one of the angles is a right angle, yeah, right? Because boom, we'd have a right angle right here, right? Then they'd all be right angles since the opposite sides are congruent. It's a parallelogram. Opposite angles then would be congruent. There'd be a right angle. Consecutive angles are supplementary. So I'm going to highlight this one. Keep in mind, it's going to be a little different on the test because it's not multiple choice, right? If opposite angles are congruent, then the frame must be no, because it is a parallelogram. So opposite angles are going to be guaranteed to be equal, but they don't have to be 90s, right? If the adjacent sides are also congruent, then the frame must be a rectangle. No, what they're saying is like if there's a 1 tick and a 1 tick and a 1 tick and a 1 tick, no, that'd be called a rhombus, and they don't have to be right angles. And if they were right angles, it'd be called a square, which is a very special type of rectangle. So, but no, not this one. That's not going to cut it. Let me say it again. That's going to make it a rhombus. If two adjacent angles are supplementary, then the frame must be. No, that makes it just a parallelogram, right? Parallelograms, the consecutive angles are supplementary. They don't have to be both 90 though, right? One could be 100, the other one 80. Hope I'm making number 8 clear. I know I'm talking fast. Number 10, if the quadrilateral ABCD is a rhombus, which condition must be true? So yes, I'm going to have to change these a little bit, right? Because I don't want this to be multiple choice. So I'll figure out how I'm going to change it. It might be that I just tell you the diagonals are perpendicular. Okay, so let's see. If the quadrilateral ABCD is a rhombus, which condition must be true? Okay, so let's put a little perpendicular sign right here. And what else do we know about a rhombus? Well, all the sides are equal, right? So like if this side is like 10 long, all the sides are 10 long. I might ask, how big is the diagonal? Ooh, could we figure that out? Could we figure out how big the diagonal is? Ooh, that'd be a really tough question, wouldn't it? Like I'd put an X right here, I'd put an X right here, and that would be X squared plus X squared equals 10 squared. So I get 2X squared, doing the Pythagorean theorem, equals 100. And then I take and divide by 2, and I get X squared equals 50. Then I take the square root of that, and the square root of 50 comes out to be, 7 something, because if it was 49, it'd be exactly 7. So you could come up with an approximation like 7 point, I bet it's 0. It might be 1, 7.1. I bet it's 0 though, 7.0. Or you could simplify it, and simplifying looks like this: square root of 25 times the square root of 2, and the square root of 25 is 5, so I get 5 square root of 2. That's one way I could modify this problem so that it wouldn't be multiple choice, right? I could ask you, how big is half the diagonal or the whole diagonal? Like once we get 5 square root of 2 or square root of 50, the whole diagonal is going to be 2 square root of 50 if you don't want to simplify your radical, or it's going to be 10 square root of 2 because 2 times 5 is 10, so that becomes 10 square root of 2. That would be a really challenging problem for the rhombus one. All right, quadrilateral PQRS is a rhombus. Okay, here's another rhombus. The measure of QPR is 25. Okay, so QPR. Okay, so this is 25 right here, right? Then it says, what's the measure of PQR? Oh, okay, they want this whole angle right up here. Well, we just got done saying the diagonals are perpendicular to each other. If this is 25, this little angle right in here has to be 65. I don't know why I'm starting to write a 2 there. Let me try again. 65, okay? Because 65 and 25 would make 90, right? 65 plus 25 equals 90. Why is it 90? Well, we've used up 90 out of the 180 down there. Acute angles in a right triangle have to add it to be 90 degrees. So this is 65. This one's 65 right here. That makes a total of 130 degrees. 130 degrees. Number 12, find the blank, fill in the blanks, using the available answer choice. Again, man, I got to change this guy too, because we're not going to have any of these little fill in the blanks. But it says, if a quadrilateral is both then it is a square. Oh, it's got to be a rhombus and a rectangle, doesn't it? So if it's a rectangle and a rhombus, that would make it. Remember how our little mind map had a rectangle, and then it had a rhombus, and then it went down here to a square, right? So square. Hopefully that looks like a square to you. So here's our rhombus right here, and this is our rectangle right here. Okay, that's the way our mind map looked back in section 6 or something like that, 5 maybe. Number 13. Oh, I was going to do 4 at a time, right? Okay, there's video number 3.